All right. So I was sold or given away by a parent or a loved one. I was sold. Taken to Asia, which a lot of trafficking victims are, especially Caucasian girls, are taken to Asia or the Middle East. Or this could mean that she was taken somewhere west. Okay? It doesn't have to be like California or far west. It could just be, closer, but in a western direction from Kentucky. Taken into the underground or is being held underground or was held underground. Tunnels and cities underground. And if anybody's familiar with some of the information that's come out by SRA victims, they speak a lot about, underground tunnels and that sort of thing. So for those that don't understand that, just look into SRA or satanic ritual abuse victims, and, you can get into that information just for, the means of understanding some of what comes out in my reading sometimes. All right. So I come to my family in their dreams, which tells me that she's likely deceased. I was consumed by reptilians. Now, those reptilians could be actual reptilians, or they just could be people that are like cold-hearted, a predator, a cold-hearted predator, a soulless person. So that's also what that card represents. Okay, so these cards are from like the newest true crime deck that I done. And the old one, I also drew from that one. So let me just pull the cards from there. Okay, so wooded area. A well, manhole, or sewer, which would lead to underground, right? An underground area. That a lot of times trafficking victims are held underground. Okay. A spiritual leader or guru or a boss. This could be just anybody has a position of power. Okay, any kind of leader, manager, something like that. At school, or it's, identifying her as a student. I think this is somebody at school, okay? Some sort of leader, a teacher, or somebody. They were rewarded for the deed. Remember, the other card said that she was sold by somebody like a parent or a loved one or somebody that she trusted, okay? Okay, and had a previous sexual relationship, sexual activity, was a sexual partner. Remember, she was 13 years old. So again, indicating a leader, student at school, somebody she trusted. All right. So this tells me that somebody at school had taken advantage of her, or she was in some kind of relationship or something with somebody at school, a teacher, a teacher's aide, somebody. Okay. Captive. White. New England. So that would be east of Kentucky. Maybe that person is from there. The person is Caucasian, from New England. Then we have girlfriend, baby mama, wife. Okay. A miscommunication. East Coast, east. And then I come to my family and friends in their dreams. So this is the second indication that she comes to her family and friends, right? Which tells me that she's no longer here. So I didn't get an absolute card as to how she may have met her demise, other than the fact that the cards say that she was consumed by a reptilian. So again, reptilian can mean a predator, a soulless person, somebody that is just like not normal. Just apathetic, just a predator, like the normal, the run-of-the-mill types that are into this kind of thing. Or it could be actual reptilian. So I feel like the cards are definitely saying a couple things. One, she was held underground, or she at some point she ended up underground. Two, it indicated, like, the sewer hole, the well, um, you know, so that's confirming. So the decks, or the different, right, the different decks are confirming information for each other, okay? So underground, and then, student, school leader. Okay, so somebody at that school was having some kind of relationship with her, that she trusted this person. That person sold her, or made some arrangement, and was rewarded for it, okay? So Wynter was in a foster care situation because her mom got in trouble and ended up in jail. Dad, excuse me, dad said he was working to get her to come home with him and his fiance. He said he was close to his daughter. So I think whoever she was dealing with at that school, the adult she was dealing with at that school, um, you know, was pandering to her, and, her stress and all that stuff, and probably offered some kind of solution. Obviously took advantage of her, naive, and planned some sort of, like, probably told her that he was going to take her somewhere or whatever, help her out. And he ended up selling her for money. And if she's still alive, I would be surprised, because, again, I come to my friends and family in their dreams. Now, you can do this if you're not deceased. You can still come to people in their dreams if you know how to do it psychically. Um, but yeah, so unfortunately, that looks like that's what it could be. When you're at that age, you're very impressionable, and when you're going through something traumatic like losing your mom to jail, um, again, those are very tender years, very impressionable. I'm sure she was depressed, just going through stuff. They said that the foster family was okay with her. She reported that she was being cared for well. Because initially I thought that, I don't know, but I might have been reaching with that with the foster family, so I won't even speak on that. But um, yeah, so that's what it looks like. And again, I hope that she will be found safe. Of course, she's a child, and children they make these mistakes when they're being manipulated by adults. So hopefully she'll be found safe. But that's what the cards, pulled, and that's what I'm putting together based on what the cards are saying. No real impressions other than the fact that when I look at her, I can tell that she was an easy target. She was definitely an easy target. Definitely taken advantage of because of her emotional state. So very sorry to hear that. Again, I hope they find her well. And that's my reading for Wynter Wagoner. Thanks again for requesting, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Please like, subscribe, comment below, and feel free to make a request. Take care, guys.